All right.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Well, it's Friday at 4 p.m. Central, which means it's time for the back catalog listening party, where my co-host Anthony Ihrig and I bring in different artists to dig into one of their old records, listen to the tunes together, and talk about it. And we broadcast from Minneapolis, and as many of you know, this has been a pretty hard week for us all, and everyone here joining us today is from this area, and we're all living in it together. So Tony and I talked about whether we were going to do the show today, and we just thought, yes, we need some time together with our friends to just enjoy each other's company, to have a 1 hour where we can listen to music and just be with each other. So we're really happy you're here.
Yeah, we're grateful for all of you tuning in. And as you can see, we have quite a full house here today. Our guest is Monroe Crossing, and I'm going to have each member introduce themselves. We'll start with you, Derek.
Hi, Derek Johnson. 10 years with the band Monroe Crossing, and I play the guitar and do a lot of the lead singing and harmony singing.
Welcome, Derek.
Thank you.
I'm Lisa. I play fiddle and some mandolin and do the other part of the lead singing. And I'm a founding member along with my husband down there, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
So 20 years.
Hey there. Yeah. And I've got my COVID Jerry Garcia going on. So I'm Mark Anderson.
Nice. It looks like Mark might be frozen, but
Have I frozen again?
It's a nice look. You look very contemplative there.
It's cold in Minnesota.
Right, his phone froze. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us and spending the hour. And thanks to all of you for joining in. We have Alan. He says, "Stay strong, Minneapolis." Thank you so much, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Looks like he's coming in from Dallas, and we know people are coming in from all over. And
he actually says he's in the Poconos right now. So he made the trip from Dallas, and he says he's getting the gin and tonic going. So it is. This has been a week, and I'm enjoying my happy hour beverage too. I'm having a glass of red wine from our big box that we've been stocking up during the COVID time.
That you only go to after a certain hour of the day, correct?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, it sits on my counter next to the cookies, unfortunately.
Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us today. Again, if you have comments or you want to say hi to the band or have questions about the music as we go along today, feel free to share them.
Yeah.
And address them to anyone in particular, to all of us. So, did you have something you were going to jump in with, Tony?
Well, I was going to do my normal spiel, which is one thing that's happened on the show now that we're into episode 11 is we've really featured lots of different genres. So, like, the first question I want to ask the band, and you guys can, field this, whoever wants to field this can field it, but we'd love to just get a brief bio. Where did this band come from? And then where does this album fit into your history?
I'll let one of the founding members talk about where the band came from. I'll field the second half of that question.
All right.
Go ahead,
All right.
Mark.
We grew out of a band called the Pretty Good Bluegrass Band. Actually, that one and a band called Big Skyota. As those two bands ceased to exist, we had shows on the books, and it's like, well, let's fill out the dates with people that we put in. So Lisa and I, along with Art and Matt, Art Blackburn, Matt Thompson, started the band. We went through a number of different banjo players during the summer of 1999, and by fall we had renamed ourselves and did the first Monroe Crossing show in January of 2000. January 2001, excuse me.
So it's been
And then
quite
Derek
a tenure here.
replaced Art 10 years ago.
Has it been that
So
long?
he's-
Yeah.
Oh
10
my gosh.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
this is
he's
my
been in the
10th
band
year.
as long as Art was, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not long after I joined, a year after I joined, we hired a young banjo player named David Robinson. And this was the first CD we made after that. The band throughout the years have kind of rotated the CD projects thematically. There'll be a gospel record. There was a holiday record. There's other other kind of live CDs. And this one was time for a CD that featured predominantly original music. And so that's the basis for this CD. A lot of bluegrass CDs have a lot of covers. This has a few covers, but the vast majority is original music.
That's fantastic. And it looks like the first track that we have lined up to listen to is one of your originals, Derek. Do you want to talk a little bit about Chattanooga? Genesis of the song, anything important?
There's a great promoter in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Her name is Cindy Pinion, and is a friend of the band. And not only do you go there and play a show, but there's usually a party and a jam, and just a great group of people that she's associated with. And when we were on tour, we had a great time there. And this is one of those songs. This doesn't happen all the time, but this is one of those songs where it just kind of came flowing out, melody and lyrics. And pretty soon I had a song. And so I dedicated it to the folks in Chattanooga.
Fantastic. Well, let's take a listen.
And say that.
Oh, go ahead.
When this COVID thing is over, the Mabatma crew would all love to run down to Boxcar Opinion in Chattanooga, because you'd feel right at home.
Cool. And we'll talk a little bit more about Mabatma too here as we go on. But first, let's take a listen to Monroe Crossing, Chattanooga on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
There's a bright light running through my memory. Sad days divided, hearts that grew cold, and it's hard times when your mind can't stop thinking about what might have been. But the road has no end, the story is yet to be told. I'm on the road back to Chattanooga, Tennessee River running glorious and true. On the road back to Chattanooga, Chattanooga, my friend, Lord, I'm coming back to you. Now, Cindy, she was as pretty as a daisy, but I left her there crying under a setting sun, and today it is my most painful memory. I didn't know what I knew, had so much then to prove. Our lives had only begun. I'm on the road back to Chattanooga, Tennessee River running glorious and true. On the road back to Chattanooga, Chattanooga, my friend, Lord, I'm coming back to you. Southern Tennessee, it's high time I finally meet my destiny. But the road has no end, I've been there and back again. The journey is what sets you free. I'm on the road back to Chattanooga, Tennessee River running glorious and true. On the road back to Chattanooga, Chattanooga, my friend, Lord, I'm coming back to you. Chattanooga, Tennessee River running glorious and true. On the road back to Chattanooga, well, the road has no end, I've been there and back again. Chattanooga, I'm coming back to you.
And that was Monroe Crossing from their 2012 release, The Road Has No End. And we have three of the members of Monroe Crossing joining us today on this packed show. We have Derek, Lisa, and Mark, and that song Chattanooga, written by Derek Johnson, who's been with the band for the last 10 years. And Derek, before you were in this band, of course, you were in a few other bands, including in a band with Anthony Ihrig, one of my co-hosts for Back Catalog Listening Party. And was that a song, Chattanooga, that you wrote before joining Monroe Crossing, or is it one you wrote specifically for this band? And how is it different writing for this band maybe than for other projects?
No, this song was written for this band when I was in this band, and inspired by the visit there. That one of the first times I was there, touring with this band in Chattanooga. Not too much different. I've really enjoyed writing traditionally minded bluegrass tunes after writing rock and roll tunes for a number of years, where when you write rock and roll tunes, you can do whatever you want. Bluegrass, it's kind of fun to have those constraints, as it were, the formula. And so, yeah, that's how that one came about.
Well, it sounds really good, and I saw in the liner notes that it was recorded at Wild Sound, one of the premier recording studios in the Twin Cities. And I always have to ask this question, especially for acoustic bands. Since I've been to the studio, I know that they have one big large room, and then they have some isolation booths. Was this album recorded in the big room? Did you guys have people in various locations? Was it how did you approach recording this album?
I think we were pretty spread out. It's been a little while now, I'm trying to remember. But I do remember Matt being in one of the small little rooms back by the stairwell. And I think I think a couple of us were in the big rooms.
We spread out quite a bit. I think.
Did we lose Mark?
Oh, wow, the delay is crazy, isn't it? Okay. No, I'm here. It's just really delayed for some reason. I'm just behind.
Oh.
They've got the big room. They've got the drum room. We put the mandolin in the drum room. We put the banjo in the second room next to the big room. And I and my bass were on the other side of the studio in the entry, the walk-in entry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it sounds fantastic. How much of the kind of production
So there you go.
were you guys involved with? I saw it was Steve Call that engineered this one.
Steve Call was engineering it. How much did we do? We were involved. I mean, we were there for the mixing and all the, it was, I don't know. It's
been a while.
It's been a while. Plus, with bluegrass, it's such a live form of music that you don't really do a whole lot of production tricks.
Yeah, that's partly why I was
try to
curious
make
about
it sound like a band playing on stage, and that's kind of what our goal has always been when we record.
And
well, I feel like you captured it on this.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I hear on that song and on this whole record is it captures how you guys sound live, because you're a really busy touring band, performing lots of places normally pre-COVID, and it sounds like these songs are well traveled before you went into the studio. Was that the case, or were some of them kind of fresh when you went about recording it?
I see lots of smiles there.
I think bread and milk was absolutely fresh.
I know. I wish they were more traveled. The way it is, the way it's worked out the past umpteen years is that whenever there's a break in the band, that's when we focus on recording a project. And unfortunately, that's also tends to be the time when we bring up the new material. So as much as we loved it to be well rehearsed, a lot of the times we're learning the songs as we're recording them.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal.
Yeah.
I'm listening back to it, and it's like,
we don't play it that way anymore.
Well, I was just going to ask that question. Have you found that you've recorded a song, and then after you play it live for a while, you come up with all these parts that you kind of wish you could go back and do it? That's so fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, you write a new song, you're excited about it, you want to work on it, you want to put it out, and then after you've played it for a while, it kind of takes on a life of its own and it really fleshes out. Mm-hmm. So in an ideal world, of course, I'd love to give it a lot of stage time before recording.
But every song seems to evolve no matter when you record it in its life cycle, right? So it's will always be a
That's true.
snapshot in time. And one thing that I love is it has that energy, probably because some of the material was new. So
Fresh song energy.
yeah. I just wanted to.
You're right.
And I'm going to assume,
Mark?
I'm going to assume that all of us have the same issue, that when you listen back to something you've recorded, you can only hear the things you don't like about it.
Yeah, and that's something special here in the back catalog listening parties. We get to see all your faces while you're listening to the songs. And I know that if I'm listening to my own material from about 10 years ago, I'm like, ugh. But I have to say, you guys were smiling the whole time, so that's good. A good sign.
And I thought it sounded great.
Yeah, I thought it sounded great too. Speaking of the smiles,
we're professionals. We know how to smile.
I want to thank Sandra for tuning in, and Natasha from South Carolina, and Ross Willits, one of our local musician friends from the Minnesota Bluegrass community. And you mentioned, and Derek, you're wearing a t-shirt that says Minnesota Bluegrass and Old Time Music Association. There was mention of that community. That's MBOTMA. It's a kind of a mouthful. Minnesota Bluegrass and Old Time Music Association, which presents a bunch of bluegrass and old time festivals and events throughout the year. And today you guys wanted to have your tips be donated to this nonprofit organization. So that's very generous of you. So if folks out there like what you're hearing today and you want to support a cause that's special to them and to us, because Tony and I also play these MBOTMA events a lot. So it's a great thing to support, especially during this time when so many presenting organizations are struggling because they can't present their events.
Yeah, I just saw their June festival, Jam Festival is now been canceled. Their fundraiser was canceled earlier this year. So definitely, folks, hop on over to minnesotabluegrass.org and become a member if you're not a member, and you'll get all kinds of wonderful perks, or you can just donate directly to the organization.
That's right. So the next song we have queued up from this record is Bullet Train, and this was a co-write between Lisa and Mark. And since you guys do live in the same house, even though you're on different screens today, maintaining that safe social distance.
Yes.
Good models there, good role models. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, I know you guys write together and also separately. Tell us how this song in particular came together.
Well, oftentimes I'll
Lisa.
come up with a melody. Yeah, I'm taking this one. I'll come up with a melody and a basic theme, and then say, "Okay, Mark, go to it. Do your magic." And he'll pop under headphones for a couple hours, and then kind of present me with the fully fleshed out lyric. Or if I come up with the lyric, then he'll edit it to make me sound a lot smarter than I am. And but we work really well together. So that's. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I noticed in the notes that there was like a little bit of a local tie with this song title. And one thing that always interests me, Derek mentioned the creative constraints that you have in bluegrass, because, man, it really had a time and a place where it started, and there's conventions, and you follow those things. But one of the things that interests me the most is when a band or an artist can take something from their reality and put it into that into that mold. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about the origins of the Bullet Train.
Well, as bluegrass fans know, trains
local
are.
aspect?
I think Mark's delayed a bit here.
You're a little delayed, Mark. Yeah.
I'm delayed a bit. I'm going to try. I'll be right back. I'm going to go away for a minute.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of trains in bluegrass, and Roy Acuff had the Wabash Cannonball, and then Jim and Jesse had the diesel train. So we thought we'd update it a little bit and talk about the train that we'd like to see in this country, which would be a bullet train. And I know that Mark and I rode a bullet train in Europe, and we also rode one in South Korea. And so we wanted to put a little bluegrass spin on it. And at the time that we were writing this song, they were actually talking about putting in a high-speed train, Las Vegas to LA. And so, of course, that made it into the lyric, and then that project got scuttled. But least we got a song out of it.
Awesome. Well, here is Monroe Crossing's take on the tradition of the train song in bluegrass. This one is called Bullet Train.
Wanna ride that bullet train, Vegas to LA. A 45-minute glide without touching the rail. Gotta get to the station, wanna get on board the bullet train. 300 miles an hour while flying just a foot off the ground. Fuel fury pulling us out of the clouds. Maglev rocket sled ahead we sped on the bullet train. Let's ride that bullet train. Son of the zipper that taught the world what speed means. Come home to roost, getting down in American jeans. It's a pride of a nation pulling in the station. It's a bullet train. Let's ride that train, boy. Let's ride the bullet train.
Ride the bullet train.
Ride the bullet train.
Ride the bullet
Come
train.
on, let's ride the bullet train.
Ride the bullet train.
Come on now.
Wow. That was going at a good clip right there, that
Yeah.
bullet
Oh, yeah.
train.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Monroe Crossing from their 2012 release, The Road Has No End, inspired by the train that that we were hoping was going to be, or still are hoping, right? That will connect us to Chicago, right? Minneapolis to Chicago and beyond.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
It would be real nice. And want to say hello to Lyle from Houston, Devin and Linda from Connecticut, Dory, and Lindell from St. Paul. And she had a question about the photo on the cover of the album.
Oh, good question.
So I don't know who wants to field that one.
Sure. We a lot of the songs have a theme of the South because we were touring. We still get to the South at least once a year. We have a nice solid tour in the wintertime. We're a smart bluegrass band. And so a lot of the themed songs like Chattanooga, and there's some other tunes that definitely refer to our friends in the South and what we enjoy about the South. And this photo was taken by our good friend Jamie Guy, who now lives back in Minnesota, but he was back living in Georgia, where he's from. So that photo is taken outside of Ball Ground, Georgia, not too far from Atlanta.
Wow, and is that the Monroe Crossing sign I see down there, or was
Yep,
that
we stuck
photoshopped
the
in
sign.
later?
That was photoshopped.
That was
but
Okay.
but Jamie's got some wonderful photography at jamieguy.com. So check him out.
Yeah, I will second that. We've worked with Jamie as well, and he's just a world-class photographer. And looks great, guys. Well, it's a really cool album cover.
World class fella.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, the next one we have is If the World Were Filled with You, and this is a Lisa Fugly original. And what do you want to say about this song?
Well, one of the Derek briefly mentioned the wonderful music scene down in Chattanooga, and probably the person who I think of when I think of the Chattanooga music scene is Cindy Pinion. She is the founder and organizer of the Boxcar Pinion Bluegrass Festival, and one of our first trips down there, we were at a jam. And Cindy is such a fantastic person. She was talking about bluegrass, and I said, "Oh yeah, we play bluegrass," and she says, "I'll be the judge of that." So she's a wonderful, wonderful, salty, and fantastic character. And but we have twin boys that were, oh gosh, maybe 7, our first time down playing in Chattanooga, and one of our boys really wanted to play a song that he, or sing a song. I think it might have been I doesn't even remember. He wanted to sing a song at the jam, but he was a little nervous about calling attention to himself. And Cindy saw that, and she stepped up and she says, I'm gonna pull rank here, and one of our young people wants to sing a song." So she called the jam to a stop so he could do his thing. And I was so touched that she was, extend herself to help my little boy, that I just thought, I wish the world were filled with you. And that started this whole song, and this was her story. It's somebody who could make me cry in a happy way within 15 minutes is a wonderful person.
Wow,
Something-
that's a great story.
And something we need a lot of right now. So that's beautiful. I love that.
All right, well, here is Monroe Crossing. If the world
Send
were...
this out to all the people who are cleaning up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
If the world were filled with you.
Your little house in the country, cherished mementos within, tell the story of your family. Some are chosen, some are kin, and it's a center of communion. Friends and wanderers about, we all know we'll find a welcome. Laughter and music will be found. I wish the world were filled with you, for all the good things that you do. You share your heart and spare your time for those less fortunate in life. I wish the world were filled with you, for there'd be no lonely people. Wonder does somebody care? There'd be sunshine every morning, love and coffee flowing, if the world were filled with you. Grandparents knew the Great Depression and left the farm when times were bad. They never stockpiled earthly treasures, always sharing what they had. And you've kept on with their calling, helping those whom troubles find. If by the fruit ye shall know them, then you're a God-tended vine. I wish the world were filled with you, for all the good things that you do. You share your heart and spare your time for those less fortunate in life. I wish the world were filled with you, for there'd be no lonely people. Wonder does somebody care? There'd be sunshine every morning, love and coffee flowing, if the world were filled with you. be sunshine every morning, love and coffee flowing, if the world were filled with you.
Oh, beautiful
Wow.
song.
Yeah, it is. I haven't heard that one on the recording in a long time.
It's beautiful.
We had one mention of the mandolin, and I just
I
want to
know.
mention
I totally forgot that we put little brushes on there.
Oh yeah, but someone mentioned about the mandolin playing, and I just want to mention that one of the other founding members is Matt Thompson, and he is on the mandolin. And whereas the three of us here do most of the songwriting, he is an outstanding mandolin player, and he's an outstanding arranger. And so we might come up with a song, but boy, the things he adds through his arranging talents, it really makes us sound even better.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I do want to address a few questions we had. Lindell was asking about the photographer's website, and I found it. It's jamieguyphoto.com. That's JAMEYGUY photo.com. So, and we'll post that too on the Facebook thread a little bit later, but jamieguyphoto.com. And then someone commented on the vocals, and that's actually was the big note I made. Vocals in big caps. The arrangement and the harmonies are so beautiful. Was that pretty organic process coming up with the arrangement?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it took us a while to get the vocals on this one.
Especially if it was as new as the other ones, right?
Right. Not the lean ones, of course. Lisa came up. All
This
that.
was one of the really new ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fun one to sing to this day. I always enjoyed singing this one.
So, if I'm not mistaken, I heard a little dobro and drums
I
on
like
this,
playing,
and I would love to hear about that and how that ended up in this recording.
Well, our banjo player, David, who we hired at the age of 18,
Mark, you play drums.
Not long before we played came up with this record. He was the first guy in the band to play multiple instruments. So the band had never had a dobro player before, so he brought the dobro in, and he plays some other styles. He plays some old time banjo style, and he even plays some harmonica too. So that was David Robinson.
Well, it sounded fantastic on this track, especially. And how about the Skins? Is that you, Mark? So you can speak for Mark. I think Mark is fully frozen here.
Well, both Mark and I are kind of delayed sometimes, and so, okay, yeah, that was Mark on the drums.
Nice. It's nice. It adds a different feel, and
How's that?
People might not know that there was classic tracks from some first generation bluegrass artists that had snare drum on it.
Exactly.
So it's part of the tradition, folks.
Yeah. And I have to say, we've been talking about all the songs we're playing today are originals from this record, The Road Has No End. But there are a couple covers on there, like Bill Isles, a great songwriter from Duluth, and Hank Thompson. So it does kind of have a range of songwriting that's included on this. How did you decide which covers to include amongst this mainly original record?
Well, one of the covers on the CD is what we like to do in our live act, and at least usually once a CD, we like to take a song outside of the bluegrass genre and give it a bluegrass twist. So one of the tunes on there is "On Cool Woman in a Black Dress," and we found we were searching for a alternate song to put on here, and we maybe played through that once, and we were like, that's it, we're going to do this one. So yeah,
right on.
Very cool.
Well, so I want to address this next song that we have, because I don't think I ever heard this version. So the next song we're going to do is another Derek Johnson original called "Easy to Get Lost." And this is one that when Derek was with the High 48s, we used to play all the time. And I used to get the background story before it. But wow, what a different interpretation of the song on this album. I would love to hear from you, Derek, kind of how you approached taking the song that kind of had its birth in another band and bringing it here, and how the arrangement and the different parts took shape for this record.
Sure. we were looking for original stuff, so I thought I'd bring this one over from the High 48s. I always like playing this one. It has kind of a fun story behind it. And as I mentioned earlier, Matt Thompson just does a wonderful job arranging, as well as, as Mark and Lisa do as well. But it just basically went through the it got Monroe Crossified. And so everyone, brought their, it had one version with the High 48s with people who brought their individual, talents to that. And then when it made its way to Monroe Crossing, people added their own personal little twists to it. So, and then of course the vocal stack's a little different and things like that. So, but the song originated when I was living in downtown Minneapolis, and I would ride the bus often to work. And downtown Minneapolis has a lot of one-way streets. It's got a couple lakes, and it can kind of be confusing. It took me a few years to even figure out where I was going in downtown. And I was waiting for the bus, and there was a woman who pulled up in the car, and she was obviously lost, and she asked for some directions. And I actually knew where she needed to go. So I told her, take a right down here. There's a one way and you want to go left, And she just kind of looked at me with a blank stare, drove off. And I was pretty convinced that she probably wasn't even going to get to where she wanted to go, even with the directions I gave her. But there was another woman standing next to me who was witnessing all this. And as this woman very confusedly drove off, well, it's easy to get lost when you don't know where you're going. Hey man,
so true.
That's a line right there. That's a line.
Sounds like a bluegrass song. Well, here is Monroe Crossing, Easy to Get Lost. And this is a Derek Johnson original.
Been sailing around the sea of life to where the wind's been blowing. It's like a dull edge of a knife, always right but never knowing. It's a mixed up world, it's true. Spinning around and around, feels like there's nothing you can do. It's easy to get lost when you don't know where you're going. That you play when your cards are always showing. They've got their aces facing up, and you should be folding. Life is a gamble, it's true. Spinning round and round, feels like there's nothing you can do. It's easy to get lost when you don't know where you're going. Started small, but now it's growing. It's a crazy mess to be in. Was a trip, now it's flowing. It's a mixed up world, it's true. Spinning around and around, feels like there's nothing you can do. It's easy to get lost when you don't know where you're going. Yes, it's easy to get lost when you don't know where you're going.
Oh yeah, Monroe Crossing from their album The Road Has No End came out in 2012. That was it's easy to get lost when you don't know where you're going, and so
Very true.
true. And I want to say that Corrine said she was remembering great years of bluegrass festivals that she's enjoyed Monroe Crossing from Minnesota to Arizona, and I have to say, when I first moved to the Twin Cities in 2001, which is the same year you guys got started as Monroe Crossing, I saw you at one of the Mabatma festivals, and I was blown away. And I thought this was kind of my intro to bluegrass music in Minnesota. And I thought, oh, this is like the band. This is like the Minnesota bluegrass band, the it band. And I didn't know that you guys were like just getting started, at least in that configuration. So it's pretty amazing that so quickly out of the gate you guys kind of found your groove and your sound, but it's certainly evolved over the years with the new members and adding Derek and all these other folks. But I have to say it's such a treat to have you guys here sharing about your music, because I've been a fan for that long, and in my mind you will always embody Minnesota bluegrass music, so it's really a treat.
I remember going to see Big Skyota at Delano's Pizza, and as well as the Pretty Good Bluegrass Band. It's you guys have shaped the landscape in so many ways. A lot of us who were just coming up at that time were heavily influenced by you guys, for sure.
I'm honored to be a Minnesota glacier, shaping the landscape.
There you go.
Well, something like I know, like everyone right now in quarantine in this weird time that we're living in, production has stopped on the live show. And everyone's doing their live streaming thing and whatnot. But Derek, I noticed that. Well, I know for a fact that you have started a new bluegrass adventure on the radio, terrestrial radio at KBEK FM in Bram, Minnesota. Awesome radio station. And you've got your own bluegrass radio show right now. You want to talk a little bit about that? How exciting!
Sure, yeah. I was doing an interview with the Happy Trucker to promote a Monroe Crossing show. We usually play once a year in Bram, and I was just about ready to leave, and he said, I've been looking for someone to do a bluegrass show. And I thought, that sounds interesting, because I thought that would be kind of fun to try to do. And it took me a while before I had some time, and I was planning on trying to get it together this spring. And well, lo and behold, I had extra time to work on it. And so I'm putting an hour every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time on KBEK 95.5 FM, Bram, Minnesota.
And it's called All Points Bluegrass.
All Points Bluegrass. And I just like to I take all the different bluegrass I like, which is, I'm not a traditionalist in a sense. I'm not part of the bluegrass police. I do like all forms of acoustic music and bluegrass and all the spin-offs from it. And then I also try to take a time to promote some local bands. I wish, of course, there were shows I could promote right now, but that will come in due time.
Yeah. And where can folks, we have a lot of listeners to Back Catalog Listening Party that listen from all over the country and the world. Can folks stream that online? Yeah,
kbek.com. And they stream live. So on Mondays at 6 o'clock Central Time for 1 hour, All Points Bluegrass.
So awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. So how about you, Lisa and Mark? We lost Mark here; he disappeared. But how are you keeping yourself kind of active musically during this time of quarantine?
Well, we've got a big kind of a front patio here, and every day when it's nice out, I go outside and I play my fiddle, whether or not the people want it or not. I'm out there. And but I'm getting a good feedback. People ride by with their bikes and give me a thumbs up, or I should just say nobody's complained. And so as long as that keeps going, I'm just going to keep playing, because personally I really need to at least pretend that there's somebody out there that I can connect with. It's not just playing music, it's having some sort of energy transfer. And so I'm up there playing every day. And if nothing else, it will keep my skills up.
Yeah. And does Mark join you from time to time?
He does, and we're gonna have to get him more often because his calluses are not as in good shape as they have been.
Yeah.
Losing his calluses.
I have not been playing any bass really to speak of. No, I've been doing a lot of mastering and a lot of production stuff, but nothing with the bass in hand.
We were just talking about, during this time of quarantine, what kind of projects you're up to. So it sounds like you have something else going on in the music production space. You want to talk a little bit about that?
No, I've just been enjoying it.
Personal projects.
We have friends who are getting projects done, and we did one with Bert in the Netherlands. He sent us a track he did called 1.5, which is 1.5 meters away from each other, as a social distancing bluegrass song.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And Lisa and I laid down fiddle and bass on that. That was fun. It was cool to be part of an international community that was, promoting social distancing, and we shared it all around the web. And it's cool that you can do that in this era. One of the few things technology has brought us is together, as long as we don't push ourselves apart.
Oh, that's a good line right there.
All right, Derek, you take note.
Yeah.
And we'll try to find a link to that and put that into the comments too, so other people can enjoy that. Now, you mentioned your children are musicians. I remember when your children were very young. That was probably the last time I met them. Do they play music? Are they active? Are you guys gonna start a family band side project or anything like that?
No, our kids are actually.
They're talking about.
You there?
Sorry, we overlapped each other. They're talking about putting together a project that's not bluegrass, and it's kind of an absurdist. I don't know what style, but but it's going to an art project with drums and bass, and who knows what they come up with, but it'll be fun and interesting.
I've heard bagpipes and hurdy-gurdy involved.
All right.
And probably involve props.
You're going to have a permit for that.
Well, they did grow up with the Deadly Nightshade family singers, so there's that.
That was another project of yours many years ago. Now, tell me, was there a concept behind that band? I always wondered. I remember catching you maybe at one of the old Zimmerman festivals. Yeah. What was the concept behind that band?
The idea was parlor music.
Okay.
1920s and 30s parlor music, brought forward and then given a twist. I mean, Deadly Nightshade family singers. Kind of required a twist. It was Lisa and Paul, Bob and Randall writing songs. And we just accepted whatever songs people brought and kind of like Monroe Crossing, churned them through. John Hartford said style is based on limitations, and we had a lot of style.
Yes, you did.
Well, if folks just tuned in,
we just put it through our own individual filters. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to remind people if they just tuned in to the back catalog listening party that we're talking with members of Monroe Crossing, Derek Johnson, Lisa Fugly, and apparently Jerry Garcia has come back to join us on the special edition. Actually, it's Mark Anderson sporting a Jerry Garcia look. And we're coming together this afternoon on this edition, 11th episode, to talk about The Road Has No End, their 2012 release, and mostly originals. And I know we have another song queued up from it, and this is another Lisa and Mark co-write, Bread and Milk. What do you guys want to say about this song?
Well, I'll credit Jamie Guy for this one, because he pointed out that whenever there's even a thought of a winter storm, the stores in the Southeast, specifically Georgia, absolutely run out of bread and milk. And just the shelves are bare if they're talking about a storm. And Mark and I were driving the van across, I think it was Texas. I went to the north. There were some big storm clouds. And so that inspired us to write this next tune.
Yeah, we were on a cannonball run from Los Angeles to Florida to catch a cruise, one of the Monroe Crossing
Florida.
cruises. Yeah, to Florida. And I think we had like 26-hour drive in 31 hours or something like that.
Oh man,
And
the road
that
really
much,
does not have no end.
that much time in the car with two kids causes you to write a song like this. Our boys were like 7 at the time, you know?
Demanding a lot of bread and milk at the time, I'm sure too.
Yeah.
Oh man, well that's a great backstory.
They were great travelers, I gotta say.
All right, well let's take a listen to Bread and Milk from Monroe Crossing on the back catalog listening party.
Bread and milk, winter storm coming, better hit the road. Everybody is running. Bread and milk, get on your shoes. If you don't make a quick stop, you're gonna lose out on bread and milk. Stock your shelves high, everybody's worried except you and I. Let the snow fly, I got nowhere to drive. I got bread and milk and you. Radio said storm rolling in, got a couple of hours before it begins. We're not gonna move, don't know how many days. But I got a pantry squirreled away full of bread and milk. Winter storm coming, better hit the road. Everybody is running. Bread and milk, get on your shoes. If you don't make a quick stop, you're gonna lose out on bread and milk. Stock your shelves high, everybody's worried except you and I. Let the snow fly, I got nowhere to drive. I got bread and milk and you. Thank the Lord we got a pantry full of staples. Nowadays not everybody's able. I checked with my neighbor and I know that he's good. 'Cause when the winter wind's blowing, everybody should have bread. Winter storm coming, better hit the road. Everybody is running. Get on your shoes if you don't make a quick stop. You're gonna lose out. Stop your shelves high. Everybody's worried except you and I. Let the snow fly. I got bread and milk and you. Radio said storm rolling in, got a couple of hours before it begins. We're not gonna move, don't know how many days. But I got a pantry squirreled away full of winter storm coming, better hit the road. Everybody is running. Get on your shoes if you don't make a quick stop. You're gonna lose out. Stock your shelves high. Everybody's worried except you and I. Let the snow fly. I got bread and milk and you. I got bread and milk and you. That's right, I got bread, whole wheat and milk, 100% DHA and you.
Honey, we're out of TP.
It's
Whoa, that's timely.
Yeah, I know. I was just, it's funny because as I was listening to this song, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I guess the COVID era version would be like TP and lentils, because apparently lentils you can't get anywhere.
Lentils.
But
And rice,
yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, rice.
Really?
All these
Wow.
weird, it's interesting. But I love that said, yeah, we're out of TP. That was perfect.
And your rock and roll was showing, guys.
Yeah, and
I gotta tell you
blues
that.
too.
Yeah,
and that
was,
blues harmonica. So
Boogie woogie.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, don't you know? Thank
Oh
you
yeah,
so
gotta get the bread and milk.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and that was David Robinson again. You weren't kidding about him playing a bunch of instruments on this record. Again, he's played banjo, resophonic, and harmonica on that track. So really nice stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I love now that I heard the backstory. I do think you could do a rewrite though for 2020.
I think you're right.
Oh man.
I think when 2020 is gone, I think we'll all just ignore that it ever happened and try and remember just to change the world for better and not relive this ever again.
Amen to that.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, this is what has kept Tony and I going through this whole period. Has been every Friday joining with all of you, having artists like yourselves join us and reconnecting with each other and listening to music. Because without this hour every week, A, we'd forget what day of the week it is.
Yes.
And B,
I forget to shower probably.
Exactly. Because we care so much that we actually shower for these broadcasts. But also it's just really important for us all to connect with each other, because that's what when Tony called me up with this idea to do Back Catalog Listening Party, we wanted to reconnect with people and our music loving community to enjoy music together. And this has been so special for me to hear these songs with you guys. This has been really great.
Well, to that end,
thank you so
I've been
much for having
hanging
us.
out in the old wash machine. Do you know about Old Wash Machine group on Facebook?
Oh.
They do rooms there.
Oh, cool.
And you can go and log in and just wait till somebody comes by your campsite, and they'll say hi, and you get to chat for a while, and then off they go to find another jam. It's
oh, that's cool.
And
it's
for
been
those who
really
don't know,
cool.
Old Wash Machine is the campground that we always hang out at and camp at the Minnesota Bluegrass Festival every August.
Yeah.
And that's cool that they have created a virtual camping space and jam space for that. That's pretty special.
Well, this came out organically of the people who hang out there.
Right, that's what it's all about. I mean, it's a testament to the power of community in music.
For sure. And I want to thank Alan, who one of our regular listeners, always the first to tune in, who said 2020 brought us back catalog. So thank you so much, Alan. Thank you.
Hey, you know what, guys? I just noticed we have 3 minutes left, and these guys couldn't decide on their fifth song, so they actually had 6 songs. And do you think we could squeeze one more in? Because I don't know about you guys, but I could use another song.
Oh, this week warrants another song.
I think we all deserve another song, and this one looks healing. It's called "Heavenly Table." Can you talk a little bit about the Heavenly Table?
Well, this song is an ode to food. So I hope you have eaten something before you listen to it.
Well, all right. Well, we're gonna sneak in an extra song for everybody this week's back catalog listening party. This is Monroe Crossing, "Heavenly Table."
Don't listen to them who tell you I'm crazy. On account I walk 10 miles for biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Give my greetings to your good brother. When I come, he'll says he'll give me cornbread and butter. Cornbread and butter. Cornbread and butter. Cornbread and butter. Farmers markets, plum, red potatoes, pig
Yeah, I can't think of a better tune to end on than that. Heavenly Table.
It's dinner
from-
time.
Healing,
Yeah, I know,
indeed.
man.
Yeah, man.
Monroe Crossing from their 2012 release, The Road Has No End. And if you like what you heard, there are 8 more tracks that we didn't get to listen to today that are awesome. And this was a great like a appetizer, if you will, of what's on the record. But if you don't already own this record, and again, you want to hear it in high quality, you'll definitely,
sound.
you'll want to order it at monroecrossing.com and support this fine band and all the great work they're doing. It's really good stuff.
Derek, Lisa, Jerry, we are so grateful that you would spend this hour with us
And come back from the dead too. I mean, it's amazing.
and share your music and your talents. I firmly believe that music is what we need right now more than anything, and I'm just really grateful for all that you guys do. And so thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And if all of you
Thank
out
you so
there
much.
like what you heard, again, you can donate to minnesotabluegrass.org. That's where the band has asked the tips to go to today to support our local bluegrass scene. And if you like what you heard, share it with your friends on Facebook. It will be up there then. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is what makes us get through these hard times, is being here with you every Friday at 4. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until next week, folks, we wish you all the best.
Yeah. Stay safe, everybody.